Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Chip Turimbas here in Las Vegas for VegasInsider.com. Good morning, Chipper.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm a little bit in shock on what happened to the Milwaukee Bucks last night. I could
Their
not.
inability to put the ball in the hoop from the outside certainly hurt him.
You know, that's one thing I can say about Giannis. He's a great talent. He's not very good at the free throw line. He's not very good at the 14-foot floater. He's very marginal from a three-point range, but he can rebound, he can defend, and he can drive to the hoop. But he's a young player. In my opinion, he has unbelievable potential. And as soon as he gets his game worked out a little bit, works a little bit on his weaknesses, I think he's going to be absolutely unstoppable. The best player on the floor, Kawhi Leonard, is absolutely amazing. Both ends of the floor, plays great defense, finds his own shot, can open his own shop, great on assists. This guy is a tremendous talent.
Great all-around player, Jim. And, you know, that Giannis is a very impactful player. But you can see how raw he is out there. You know, he said like his shot doesn't look smooth, or even his free throws aren't it's certainly not the rhythmic, shall I say. But he's a talent, a raw talent that's really difficult to stop and probably puts as much imprint on the game as anyone. And Kawhi Leonard, of course, is probably first-team All-NBA.
Yeah, he's one of the top 3 or 5 players in the league. Yesterday there was and maybe you can explain this. Klay Thompson didn't get in the All-Star game or something like that, and it cost him. How did it cost him $30 million? What kind of a system is that?
I don't know. I guess he qualifies for a max contract if he makes any one of the first 3 teams. You know, it's always been a joke to me that sports writers get to choose these. I think the biggest honor is that your peers, like in the old days in baseball, would vote on the All-Star team. Because you had Dwayne Wade making the second team, and he doesn't belong there. And you had, you know, other players there that possibly didn't belong there because these sports writers have bigotries, and that's why I don't know if it's right for them to be making the selections. I mean, Ted Williams hit 400 and did not get the MVP because 2 Boston sports writers kept him off the ballot. And we have that situation where Levitard made a joke and sold his Hall of Fame ballot. I say just take it out of the hands of the sports writers and let the players evaluate who's the best.
It sounds like it's a popularity contest instead of a talent contest.
But, you know, the problem I see is that most of these sports writers, you know, vicariously try to put themselves in the position of these players, which they can never do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be writers. And I think they carry a lot of grudges and resentment about not being able to perform the way these exceptional athletes do.
I imagine when I heard he cost them $30 million, and I said, what the hell's going on? What kind of a system is this that these guys are making these choices and they're tied to these kind of contracts? I mean, first of all, the contracts are wrong. They should not be tied to that. Right. You know, that's absolutely ridiculous. But,
especially if the sports writers are determining who's going to be there. I mean, what right do they have to decide what my salary is going to be? But that being said, Jim, you know, the $30 million that he lost dropped his potential from $220 to $190 million. So I'm not crying for him exactly.
So we don't have to do a GoFundMe for him today?
I don't think so.
Well, baseball was a little bit profitable for me last night. I was happy about that. Basketball was wrong side with the Bucks. I'm going to go. I'll just give it out. I mean, sometimes I just give out some free stuff. I'm going to go with Toronto to close it out. They've won the last 3 games. I think fundamentally they know how to slow down Milwaukee. Milwaukee's bench is going to have to travel to Toronto, which is a tough thing to do anyway. And I think the momentum for Milwaukee, the leadership of Kawhi on the floor, and I believe a little bit better coaching on their side as well. Chipper, I'm going to go with Toronto tomorrow, laying the 2 points.
Yeah, I can see it. And I'll tell you, I'll sit and wait and see what develops in the next 24 hours before I post. But I understand exactly what you're saying. Toronto looks like the professional team out there, and the Bucks look like they were in a little disarray. And, you know, 2 outstanding players and outside shooters, which Milwaukee could have used, only played like 4 and 8 minutes yesterday. So maybe the coaching advantage does go to Toronto, and it's going to be it's going to be who? Is this a sacrificial lamb that's going to be facing Golden State eventually? So,
well, there's people out there that believe that Milwaukee is the better team, better than the Golden State Warriors. I don't see it. Now, I know that Durant is not going to be back for Game 1. It doesn't look like Boogie Cousins is going to be there either. So they're, but they got a good bench, a bench that they didn't use as much as Steve Kerr said he wish he had during the regular season. But they're the champions. They've won 3 or 4 out of 5 years, and
yeah.
I mean they got Stephon Curry is unbelievable. Klay Thompson might have a burr up his butt from what happened yesterday with that voting. He might put on a show. I think he's a fantastic player. And
I do too.
It's not only the offense that he plays; he always guards the best player on the other side. He is a tremendous defensive ball player, and I just like the guy a lot. Him not being on a number 1 team or a top selection in anything is absolutely incredible for me. I think Golden State's going to win a series against anybody. The problem is, I do think one of the best players in the world is Kawhi Leonard, and I hate going against a guy that's that good.
Well, Jim, I was going to say that the lack of playoff experience might hinder the Bucks, but the Raptors don't have any playoff experience either. But I do think and believe, like what you said, they do have the best player on the court. So we'll take, from there, we'll just see and evaluate what goes on with the points and the action.
Absolutely. In baseball, we've got some all-star pitchers going today. You got Snell pitching for Tampa. Now, the Tampa's faded a little bit. Snell broke the toe a couple weeks ago. He came back. He didn't look right, but the last 2 games he's been extremely sharp. And another guy going today is Sale for Boston, and he was in a little bit of a slump early, but the last couple games that he has pitched has been absolutely incredible.
Sale's been striking out people at an incredible rate. He had 10 strikeouts and 5 in the third last time out, Jim, and he had 17 strikeouts in that 6 innings, or 7 innings actually, in the previous start. But he's looking to put up some wins. He's only 1-5. This is a great matchup of possibly, and most likely, the 2 best teams in the American League, Houston and Boston. I like this matchup. Jim, coming off a 2-0 day yesterday with Vegas Insider, and now the number 1 guy in baseball at 3,300. That's a plus for the year.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been running pretty hot right now. And this game actually is one of my releases. And I just found it incredulous that Tampa Bay would be favored on the road yesterday against the same Cleveland team who's been in the playoffs 4 or 5 years in a row and in the World Series. And yet they were an underdog at home. And that's one of the reasons I took Tampa yesterday. And today you can expect Tampa Bay to be favored with Snell on the mound. And he has come back after his injury. He's 3-4 on the year. This is a tough spot for them because the Indians are playing so poorly at home, Jim, and they're not hitting the ball at all.
Well, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I don't know what level you reached in baseball when you played, but you were pretty highly ranked, and I'm not sure if you played semi-pro ball or minor league ball, whatever it was, but you were pretty damn good. And you know baseball as well as anybody, not only from a gaming side, but also as fundamentally a baseball player that did very well. And I look at this Cleveland team, and they just are not hitting the ball. I mean, and
not at all.
Now they're going up against a pitcher. I mean, to me, I don't know baseball as a player, as a gambler. Yes, I do. I think Snell should be a bigger price today. You got one of the best pitchers in baseball, rounding back into form. He was in great form early, broke the toe, came back. He was very, very off his game. I mean, just a couple games he was horrible. So his overall stats for the year may not look as good as what he should be. And you throw out those 2 games after he came back from the toe, and you just look at his last 2 games or at the beginning of the season when he was healthy. This guy should be 160 in this game. I believe it's a very short price for him. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I understand. If you're evaluating talent, player for player, and a pitcher, you might very well be right. But this Bieber has thrown pretty well for Cleveland, and he's another one whose numbers haven't quite shown it. But he has a high strikeout ratio, and he's given up much fewer hits than innings pitched. And I think, Jim, that's probably why the line is contained a little bit lower than we would probably rate it in our minds.
Well, yes. There's one other factor in this game I want to point out. The game opened 7.5 over 14. I'm looking at the game 7.5 under 21 to 25. That's coming from some sharp money. So now
excuse me. I guess they expect Bieber and Snell to do their thing then for the most part. And we know Cleveland doesn't score, Jim.
Well, yeah. The other thing is Tampa is not the greatest hitting ball team either, or ball club either. I mean, yeah, they can put up runs now and then, but they don't have that murderous row lineup that you're going to be afraid of. I mean, if Bieber is anywhere sharp, and he's got a lot of talent, and he has pitched well. I got a double play on this game. I like the road team, and I like the under.
Well, I can't go against you, I can tell you that much.
So, okay, anything else out there that you see anybody out there that's rounding into shape? Or we all know the big numbers. I mean, you got the Mets going against Detroit today, Syndergaard against Soto. You got a 275. I never play a favorite over 140. I mean, sometimes I might make a mistake and give it out when it's like 135 or 140, and then all of a sudden the thing will shoot up to 160 or 70, and it's after I posted it. I don't have any control of that, of course, but this is a 275 line on Syndergaard. What I would do with this line, I really believe that Syndergaard minus 1.5 is the right play. Detroit is absolutely in the dumpster right now, and the Mets, they're capable. They're almost a 500 team, and Syndergaard has his moments. I like laying the run there, 1.5.
But I always feel like I'm ready to fall into a trap when I lay runs. Like the Yankees winning 5-1 yesterday, are leading 5-1, and then end up winning 6-5, and I'm never going to lay that high price, Jim. You know what I'm saying? I will never lay the 275 or 300. We don't need that. You and
I are the same on that. We're not going to lay big numbers.
Yeah, no. There is an interesting game out there. There's a guy named Griffin Channing. Have you seen this kid from the Angels?
Yeah, it's this guy. He opened 170. He bet it down to 158, which isn't much of a move. Texas has been a little bit hot. I like Channing or Canning. It's not Channing. It's Canning.
It's Canning. Yes.
But I can't lay that kind of price with the Angels. They're not that good. They're not that good against left-handers, which Smiley is, and Texas had capable of hitting the ball. That game is 9 is the total. It's pretty stable. Canning looks like he has a lot of potential. I give you that. There are some guys like Canning in the league that you really have to keep your eyes open for. Like yesterday, I don't know if I bet this. I kicked myself for not giving it out. The kid, I'm going to try to say this right, Giolito.
Oh yeah, for the White Sox. No, that was a big game we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, that's one of those guys. Every day a star is born. So
yes.
Yes. And that is one, and Canning could be another.
Jim, this Angel team, I think is a heap of garbage. I really don't think they're any good at all. And their lines at home have been close to pick them $1.10, small underdog. Now all of a sudden they're in the middle of a big losing streak, and this Canning, comes up, $1.50 favorite. So I hate to take the Angels, but I think the odds makers are telling us that they're the side today with this kid pitching. And by the way, this Drew Smiley for the Rangers, this lefty is 0-3, his ERA is 6.5. And I have a couple of guys, and Jim, we have friends that just get into certain habits. And one habit they have is fading this Drew Smiley for Texas. They play against them every time out. So that probably adds fuel to the fires as to that line being so high.
All true. It's automatic for me that when a team is over 140, and I'm looking right at it, and this was Canning 170 was what they opened it. I mean, Pinnacle is a pretty sharp book, and they opened at 170. Yeah, it's bet down to 159, 160, 158 across the board right now. But I automatically, if it's 140 or higher, I can't play it. I won't play it. So
I understand. You know, the kid's had 24 strikeouts in 20 innings. He's only allowed 16 hits. He's only had 4 career starts. But, you know, Texas Jim swept this team 3-0 a couple of weeks ago in Texas, outscoring them 22-11. Now the Angels may be laying in wait for a team that's 7-15 on the road. I'm beginning to see why this line is so high, even though, I mean, the Angels are so weak. And by the way, this Smiley's 0-4 lifetime against the Angels with an ERA close to 6. So I guess they're justified in making this line this high, Jim.
Well, let me ask you a question. How many innings do you expect to get out of Canning today?
6.
Okay.
Well, then again, with Brad Asmus as your manager, who I consider absolutely one of the worst in the history of baseball, he made a double switch one time where the pitcher became the leadoff hitter, and he may pull Canning after 2 innings because he's another one of these guys that throws 7-8 pitchers in a game. He had a 3-0 lead against Minnesota in the 7th the other day. Yanked his starter. They'd only given up 2 hits and they lose 8-3.
Well, that's just another reason not to bet them.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big fan of the Angels or their management.
So
but,
okay, so why don't we look at this? There are a couple of bets that the people out there. I'm not sure if it's available to everybody, but out here in Vegas we have these opportunities. You can look at the run line. You can look at laying runs. You can look at the total. You can make a first inning bet if you want to, or you could just play the first 5 innings. So if you like Canning so much and you don't like Smiley much, I would say let's go in and find a way to bet the first 5 innings on Canning.
Yes, and a lot of people out here have gone to that, Jim, now because of the way that managers are pulling starters out in the 5th inning and then, going straight to their bullpen from there. So it's something that I've never really been involved with before, but a number of websites are offering it, and at least on the run line on Vegas Insider, some others may offer the first 5 innings. But like you said, it's limited to I don't know how many bookmakers actually may carry it, Jim, or places here in Las Vegas. We have access to just about everything, so that's our advantage.
Yeah, these are the things that I look for in team totals. For example, I'll take a team where I feel my pitcher is going to have more control with my bullpen having control, and I'll bet the other side over or under, probably mostly under, their run total. I'll do the same. So there's a lot of ways to bet baseball that years ago we didn't have available to us. So there's a lot of ways to climb the mountain in baseball.
Well, we've said it before, Jim. There's more than one way to win in this industry. You can skin a cat a number of different ways. And there's some people that just you play totals, and other people will play these obscure games. Personally, I like the showcase game. I like the high-profile game, and that's what I seem to do best with. But, we had mentioned it before. Even, say a guy like Dave Koken comes up with, Prairie View and things like that. And I just find it so difficult to track all of them.
Well, you know what? There was a service years ago. I can't remember their name, but they simply played the added games, the extra games, and they stayed away from all the marquee games because they felt that the odds maker or bookmaker, however you want to call it, didn't know enough to make a good solid number, and they would take like 20 teams that were extra games, added games, and they would focus on them. And you know what? For a long time, they did so well that when they put the lines out, they put a game out -3 or +3. 10 minutes later, it was 7. So because the market is thinner. So that's the negative to it. But if you do the work yourself and you're a creator rather than a follower in that kind of stuff, you can make a lot of money. And that is a potential market that in today's market, with so many states now opening up and so many new bettors out there, I mean, there's going to be a lot more bettors. I mean, if we go to 30, 38 states legalized, you're going to bring people out of the woodwork making their $20, $40, $50 bets. The market's going to increase exponentially. The marketplace is going to be unbelievable. Yeah, the average bets are going to be a lot less than they used to be years ago when you had the larger players or the whales, so to speak. But it's going to be, we have to find new ways to win, extra ways to win. And I'm excited about it because it just opens a lot more doors for me.
Well, I don't know if you know, Jim, WNBA is opening up today, and that's a way to win. And I've launched my first play in the WNBA on Vegas Insider tonight, and it is my Pink Lady game of the day. And we'll see what happens.
Well, I am going...
And Canadian football is coming up real soon, too, and we've made some money there, Jim.
You're right. And I'm going to have a WNBA game. I'm going to be posting every day. I mean, I can't have a play every day. There's only 2 games today, but I do have one. I do have one that I'll be posting. And, you know, that is a marketplace where there's more value than people think. And why? Because there's not enough eyeballs on it to make solid numbers and keep up with all the extra players and who's hurt. And so I got the other day they announced that Sue Bird, who's been around for a long time, she's out for a while. That team has got decimated with injuries. They've lost 3 really good players, at least if for not the whole season, at least part of the season. So these are the things that we all keep up with. Chip, we're running a little long. I want to say that all of your plays and mine at VegasInsider.com. VegasInsider.com has been around for a long time. They have a lot of followers. There's lots of great handicappers on the site, lots of great articles, and we're going to be doing audio podcasts with Vegas Insider right now, and then we'll add video as we get closer to football. Chipper, anything else you want to do before we close?
No, Jim, it's great working for you. The thing I wanted to say is about the credibility of the website of Vegas Insider. It really gives us credibility because our records are documented and posted every day, and there's no funny business going on here, and you can rely on Vegas Insider to give you the best.
All right, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll talk again on Monday.
All right, bud. Great talking to you. I'll see you then.
Thank you, Chip.